Hi guys, Eevee Guy here. Welcome to a new episode. Today I will do a bug type Nuzlocke challenge. So welcome to episode 2 of my bug type Nuzlocke. If you didn't see the first episode, go check it out. This is going to be a special kind of monologue that I will try to do. Each generation divided by episodes. And this episode will start in Johto, in the Gen 2 games. So Johto give us 100 Pokemon more, and all of those 100 new Pokemon, they give us 7 new Bug-type Pokemon. Well, one of them being an evolution of Gen 1 Pokemon. Today we will be playing Pokemon Silver, and the Bug-type Pokemon you can have in Gen 2 games is Caterpie, Weedle, Paras, Venonat, Scyther, Pinsir, Ladybug, Spinarak, Yanma, Pineco, Shuckle, and Heracross. So that means we have 12 bug Pokemon we can actually catch. Or not. Spinarak is exclusive to Pokemon Gold, so no Spinarak for us. So that means 11 Pokemon for us. Still a lot. Bug types are weak against fire, flying, and rock types, but they are strong against grass, psychic, and dark types. So with a little love and patience too, of course, I'm sure we can lead them into victory. So, the rules for this challenge is, if a Pokemon faints, is dead and must be boxed or released. I can only catch the first bug type, or that will become a bug type Pokemon after evolve, in each route. Every time I defeat a gym leader, that gym will be my checkpoint. If I black out, I must reset from the last checkpoint. I will be playing set mode, and I will use HM Mules if I need to. It's not really a rule, but you understand me. My level cap will start level 15 and increase always 5 levels for the next gym. If it goes over level, I will put it in a box until it can be used again. This means I will not use the normal level cap from the gym leaders. For the first gym I will be at level 15, the second gym I will be at level 20, and so on. This means this rule will bring advantages, but it will also bring disadvantages for myself. But of course I will still try to match the levels from the gym leaders, if I need to. The ones below the level, of course. I can't heal in battle, I'm only allowed to use health items. And since this is the second episode, I want to add a new rule to this challenge. Every time I use the same type for the second time, or onward, this rule will activate. So, I can't use Pokemon that already faint in previous generations. So, unfortunately it's not going to be 11, but 7 Pokemon we can catch. Silverwing, aka Butterfree, Radar, aka Venomoth, Ninja, aka Scyther, and Beetle, aka Pinsir, they died on Kanto, so they can't join us in Johto. Which is a shame, because I was looking forward to use a Scizor in this run. Well, we have the Steel type run someday, for that one at least, but at least we have new members to catch. So, put a like on that video, subscribe to my channel, Eevee will appreciate, and come with me in this adventure. So we start in New Bark Town and we choose Chikorita. So our rival will have a fire type, a threat for my bug type. Then I go to Route 30 and catch my real starter, a Weedle, and I name it Killer Bee. Unfortunately we can't have a fully evolved bug type until after the first gym. And the first gym will be the worst for me. Why? Because it's a flying type gym, which our bug types are weak to. And why am I telling you this? Because this is my 4th attempt. Yeah, I lost the first 3 attempts. The first time I go with only Kakuna, but I lost right away in the first gym trainer. That Spearow is fast and it knows Peck, which can make a big damage to Killer Bee. So on this 4th attempt I managed to train Killer Bee until it evolved again into Kakuna. And also I did something I didn't do before as well. I go get my next encounter, which is found in Route 31, in the morning. And to be fair, I forgot about this one. But this one is important because it could be the saver of this first gym. It's a Ladybug. I catch it and I name it Joe. And Joe could be the saver because it knows Supersonic. And if I'm lucky, it can make these damn birds hit and confuse. So I go face the first gym trainer. Is Spearow still faster, but I land the Supersonic. Then I change for Killer Bee, and Spearow hits itself in Confuse. Nice. Then I go for Poison Sting, and Spearow gets Poison. That's good as well. Then Spearow hits itself in Confuse again, and it goes down. Alright, the first Gym Trainer is done. Let's go face the second Gym Trainer. He only has 2 Pidgeys, and they don't have a Flying type move, which means my 2 Bug types are safe, for a while. So I face the second Gym Trainer. The first Pidgey, I land a Supersonic, and Pidgey gets confused and hits itself in Confuse. Then I change for Killer Bee, and I go for Poison Sting, which poison Pidgey, and eventually Pidgey goes down. Then it comes the second Pidgey, so I change back to Joe, and I start the Supersonic shenanigans again. I hit the Supersonic again, Pidgey hits itself in Confuse, and then I change for Killer Bee again, and I go for Poison Sting. Pidgey doesn't stay poisoned, so I continue with Poison Sting, and Pidgey snaps out of Confuse. Damn. But it gets poisoned this time, so I continue with Killer Bee, and try to go as much with Poison Sting, and with the help of the poison, Pidgey goes down, and Killer Bee survives on 4 HP. Phew! Okay then, we already win the Gym Trainers. Let's go to the worst part. But first, I put both Joe and Killer Bee on level 9. So now it's time to face Faulkner, the Flying type Gym Leader. He starts with Pidgey and I go with Joe. I go with Supersonic and Pidgey hits itself in Confuse. Nice. Then I change for Killer Bee and Pidgey misses an attack. Then I go for Poison Sting all the way. Pidgey still managed to hit in Confuse, but when it reaches red, it snaps out of Confuse and then lands a tackle on Killer Bee, but it goes down. But I was hoping that I could face the next Pokemon, Pidgeotto, on full health. Guess not. So I change for Joe, which takes a big damage from Gust, but then our berry heals a little bit. Then Joe takes another big damage from Gust, surviving on just 2 HP, landing a Supersonic. Then I change for Killer Bee, and Pidgeotto hits itself in Confuse. Good. Then I go for Poison Sting, and Pidgeotto gets poisoned. Good. Then Pidgeotto hits itself in Confuse, while the poison and Poison Sting from Killer Bee makes more damage. Then Pidgeotto takes itself out in Confuse, winning the first batch. Wow, that was close. Killer Bee evolves into Beedrill as a reward. You deserve it, buddy. It was very lucky that we had those confused shenanigans and the poison, otherwise we would be screwed. Fortunately, I remember about Joe. It only took 4 attempts, but now we can continue our journey. I arrive into Azalea town, and before I go face the gym, I go to Ilex Forest and I catch our next encounter, a Paras. Welcome back, Mushroom, the last survivor from our last bug challenge. Then I go face Bugsy, the bug-type gym leader, our real rival. He starts with Metapod and I go with Killer Bee. Metapod goes down after some Fury attacks. Next is Kakuna, so I change for Mushroom. I go for Scratch, but Mushroom gets poisoned, which is bad. I was planning to use it to poison Scyther. Oh well. I finish Kakuna and then I have to switch first to Joe to land a Supersonic. Then I change for Killer Bee. Then I go for Poison Sting, which poisons Scyther, and Scyther snaps out of Confuse. Just in time. I go for Fury attack, but then I need to switch for Joe, which can take well a Fury Cutter. And then I go for Tackle and a Comet Punch, and with the poison as well, Scyther goes down. And we win our second batch. Looks like I'm the best bug catcher, Bugsy. Right away we have the rival fight. It starts with Ghastly and I go with Joe. Ghastly goes for Lick, which paralyze, but we manage to hit a Supersonic. Then I switch for Killer Bee, then I go for Poison Sting, because I can't use normal type attacks on this ghost. And Ghastly hits itself in Confuse. Of course Poison Sting doesn't do that much, but thanks to Ghastly hitting itself in Confuse, eventually Ghastly goes down. Next is Quilava, the threat for our bug type team, so I change for Joe again, then Quilava goes for Leer. Weird, but I will take it. I use Supersonic, then I change for Killer Bee again, then I go for Poison Sting. One of the Poison Sting poisoned Quilava, which is good. Then Quilava snaps out of Confuse and lands an Ember, making a big damage. But Killer Bee survives and it lands 2 Fury attacks, which puts Quilava down. Last is Zubat. I change for Mushroom to use a Stun Spore to paralyze Zubat. Then I change back to Killer Bee, but I receive a bite in return. Then I use Fury Attack, one of them crits, and we land 5 times, leaving Zubat on the red. Then the last Fury Attack takes Zubat down, winning the fight. Then my mom calls me saying that she buys something for me. Okay, let's see what it is. A Super Potion. Well, it will be good. Thanks anyway, Mom. After some training, Joe evolves into Ladian, and we arrive in Goldenrod City, and it's time to face Whitney, the normal type gym leader. She starts with Clefairy and I go with Joe. I go for Comet Punch, and Clefairy only uses Metronome, which could be random, but fortunately nothing happens, so Clefairy go down. Next is Miltank, her scariest Pokemon. Then it uses Rollout, which leaves Joe on 3 HP, before taking a Supersonic. Then I change for Mushroom, and then Miltank snaps out of Confuse right away. Damn it. But we managed to use a Stun Spore on it to paralyze Miltank. I wanted first to use Poison Powder, but I thought, at least with a Stun Spore we can stop those rollouts. Then I start to use Leech Life, and Miltank gets paralyzed twice in a row. Then Miltank goes for Stomp, leaving Mushroom on 7 HP, so I change for Killer Bee. I go for Twin Needle, making a good damage. Miltank goes for Stomp, then another Twin Needle, and it leaves Miltank on the red. Then another Stomp leaves Killer Bee on 4 HP. I know I'm faster, so I go again with Twin Needle, but Miltank survives on the red. But he gets fully paralyzed. Nice. So another Twin Needle takes Miltank down. Wow, did I beat Whitney with 3 bug types? I guess I did. We got the 3rd badge. But still it was close. Look our team after beating Whitney. They got very hurt. Damn. And I still needed 3 bug types to finish her. That was brutal. Thank you for the paralyze. That was a good call. If I had poison it, maybe my team would die before Miltank goes down with the poison. Well, at least we can get our next encounter, which is an Yanma. But I'm not going to lie to you, I stay here for almost 20 minutes looking for it. And on fast forward, so multiply that for 3 and you will see how much time I spend here. That's what you get when you catch a Pokemon that has 1% of spawning. Either way, I catch the Yanma and I name it Sonic Wing. And after some levels, Mushroom evolves into Parasect. So it's time to face Morty, the Ghost type gym leader. He starts with Ghastly and I go with Sonic Wing. Since this is a Ghost type gym, normal type attacks can't affect Ghost types. But fortunately Sonic Wing has Foresight, and if I use it on a Ghost type, normal type attacks can hit. So I use Foresight on Ghastly and Ghastly goes for Curse. Then on the next turn I use Headbutt, a normal type attack, and Ghastly goes down. Next is Haunter, and unfortunately I need to switch to shake off that curse from Sonic Wing. So I change for Joe, which takes a Nightshade. Then I change for Mushroom, which takes another Nightshade. Then Haunter uses Curse on Mushroom while I go for Spore, to put Haunter to sleep. Then I change for Sonic Wing to use a Foresight, and then of course Haunter wakes up, but we take it out with a Headbutt. Next is Gengar, which I use again another Foresight, then Gengar misses a Hypnosis, fortunately, then I go for Headbutt, and then Gengar misses again Hypnosis, then another Headbutt, and Gengar flinches. Then another Headbutt, and Gengar misses again another Hypnosis, so a last Headbutt, and Gengar goes down. Last is the second Haunter, and again I go for Foresight. Then Haunter uses Mean Look to stop me from switching, but no problem, I go for Headbutt, which makes more than half. Then Haunter only goes for Mimic, which means the next Headbutt can hit, and Haunter goes down, winning us the 4th badge. Phew, nice. I wasn't worried, not even for a second. I go back to National Park to get the Dig TM, and then I go to Goldenrod City department store to buy some more TMs for our team. Then we get to Cianwood for 3 things, to get our next encounter, a Shuckle, Bug and Rock type. I mean, it's not the best, but I will take whatever I can. Shucky? That's its name? Alright, Shucky it is. Then we get the secret potion for Jasmine, and then we go face Chuck, the fighting type gym leader. He starts with Primeape and I go with Killer Bee, I go with Fury Cutter, while Primeape goes for Rage. Then Primeape starts to attack with Fury Swipes, and our Fury Cutter starts to get some more power, until Killer Bee survives on 4 HP and then takes Primeape down with the last Fury attack. Damn. But the fight is not over yet, because next is Poliwrath. I change for Mushroom, which takes a Surf, then I go with Spore to put Poliwrath to sleep. Then I go for Leech Life, which of course doesn't do anything, and Chuck uses a full heal. Damn. But no problem. I just use another Spore to put Poliwrath back to sleep, then this time I change for Joe, and first I go for Supersonic, just in case. Then I use a Thunder Punch 3 times to put Poliwrath down, and we win the 5th badge. Nice! Then we get to Olivine City, again to face Jasmine, the Steel-type gym leader. She starts with Magnemite and I go with Mushroom, Magnemite goes for Thunderbolt and I go with Spore. Then I change for Joe and then I use 2 digs to put Magnemite down. Next is the second Magnemite, then I use 2 more digs to take down Magnemite. Last is Steelix, so I change for Mushroom, which takes a Rock Throw and survives on 6 HP. At this point I was thinking if I should switch, but then I decided to risk and go with Spore. And Steelix actually managed to miss an Iron Tail, which gives me the chance to put Steelix to sleep. I definitely don't want this thing awake, so then I change for Joe and I use a Supersonic. Then I change for Killer Bee and I start using Fury Cutter. And with the help of Steelix hitting itself in Confuse and then with the Fury Cutter gaining power, we actually managed to defeat Steelix and win the 6th badge. Unbelievable. So next we go face the Team Rocket base, but thanks to Mushroom, Spore and some moves from Joe, like Dig and Thunder Punch, and other moves from the team of course, I could handle that, fortunately. Yeah, like I said, fortunately. And to face the Electrodes, I know they like to use Self-Destruct, so I use Shucky to handle those explosions. I go get the TM for Hidden Power and then the TM for Sludge Bomb. In Azalea Town I use Headbutt on the tree to get the Pineco, which I catch and I name it Pine. And then I go back to Route 29 for another Headbutt on a tree to get a Heracross, and I name it Hornbeetle. So after some long time training, it's finally time to face Bryce, the Ice-type gym leader. He starts with Seal and I go with Mushroom. I use Spore to put it to sleep, then I change for Joe and with 2 Thunder Punches, Seal goes down. Next is Dewgong, so I go for Supersonic first. Unfortunately Dewgong doesn't hit itself in Confuse and hits an Aurora Beam. Then on the next turn, snaps out of Confuse and hits another Aurora Beam while I go for Thunder Punch. On the next turn I go for another Supersonic and Dewgong hits itself in Confuse this time, twice actually, which gives me the chance to take down Dewgong with 2 more Thunder Punches. Last is Piloswine, so I change for Mushroom while Piloswine misses a Blizzard. Good. Piloswine misses another Blizzard and I go for Spore, then I change for Killer Bee, and then I use Fury Cutter, and while Piloswine sleeps, Fury Cutter has time to get even more stronger every hit. So a few hits and then Piloswine eventually goes down, winning us the 7th badge. Not bad at all. Then next we have the Team Rocket story and the rival fight, and normally I skip it because I'm already a little over level and that makes these fights very easy, and it's not different here, but the rival fight was a little tricky. It starts with Golbat and I go with Joe. I go for Thunder Punch, which makes almost half, then Golbat goes for Confuse Ray. Then on the next turn we hit ourselves in Confuse, and Golbat makes a lot of damage with Wing Attack. I still like to risk it, so I go for Supersonic, which we hit, and Golbat hits itself in Confuse. So on the next turn we snap out of Confuse and hit the Thunder Punch, putting Golbat down. Next is Magnemite. I use first Supersonic and Magnemite misses a Thunder Wave, then I use Dig to take down Magnemite. Next is Quilava, so I go again for Supersonic and Quilava hits itself in Confuse. Then I use the Dig and a Thunder Punch to take it down. Next is Haunter, I go for Supersonic again, then I use the Dig leaving Hunter on the red. Then Hunter uses Shadow Ball, which leaves Joe on the red as well. I still can use another dig to take down Hunter. But when the last Pokemon Sneasel comes out, I change for Horn Beetle, which takes a quick attack. And of course Sneasel continues to use quick attack, so I can use counter to take down Sneasel, winning the fight. Then next I go face Claire, the Dragon type gym leader. She starts with Dragonair and I go with Joe. I use Ice Punch, and I actually managed to get the freeze on it, so another Ice Punch takes it down. Next is the second Dragonair. I go for another Ice Punch, and Dragonair misses a Thunder Wave, which even if it hits, it would be cured by our parry. Next is a third Dragonair, and this time I decide to go Supersonic first, and Dragonair hits itself in Confuse. Then I go for one Ice Punch and a Thunder Punch to take it down. Last is Kingdra, so I use Supersonic first. Then I use the Thunder Punch while Kingdra hits itself in Confuse. Then I change for Mushroom and I use Spore to put it to sleep. Then of course Claire heals Kingdra and uses also a full heal to wake up Kingdra. But of course that just leaves it where we were before. Kingdra still make a lot of damage to Mushroom, but when I put it back to sleep, I just use some slashes and Kingdra goes down, winning us the last batch. Nice! Then before we challenge the Pokemon League, we need to face our rival for a last time. It starts with Sneasel and I go with Killer Bee, and a Twin Needle takes it down. Next is Golbat, so I change for Shucky, but Golbat uses Confuse Ray and Shucky hits itself in Confuse. Twice. So I decide to change for Sonic Wing, then I start to use double teams. Then 3 Headbutts takes down Golbat. Next is Magnetons. I use 3 last double teams, then I use Headbutts to take down Magneton. Next is Typhlosion, and thanks to those double teams, Typhlosion can't touch us, so I take it down with a few Headbutts and returns. Next is Haunter, and I change for Killer Bee, and Haunter uses Curse. I still managed to take down Haunter with Sludge Bomb, but Killer Bee took a lot of damage, so when Kadabra comes out, I change for Mushroom. Then I use Spore to put it to sleep, then I use Slash to take Kadabra down, winning the fight. Now it's time to face the Elite Four. And first is Will, the Psychic type specialist. It starts with Zato and I go with Killer Bee. Killer Bee managed to take down the 2 Zatos, Jinx, and Executor with Twin Needle. Of course last is Slowbro, so I change for Mushroom, and I use Spore to put it to sleep, then I use Leech Life and Slash to take down Slowbro, winning the fight. Next is Koga, the Poison type specialist. He starts with Ariados and I go with Horn Beetle. I take down Ariados and Venomoth with Earthquake, then Crobat comes out so I change for Shucky, and then I use Rollout to take it down. Next is Fortress, so I change for Horn Beetle. I use some counters, but then I change for Mushroom and I put it to sleep with Spore, and then I use some slashes to put it down. Next is Muck. We take a lot of damage with Sludge Bomb. I use Spore to put Muck to sleep, then I change for Sonic Wing and I use Headbutt to put Muck down, winning the fight. Next is Bruno, the Fighting type specialist. He starts with Hitmontop and I go with Horn Beetle. I use Horn Attack to take down Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee. Then Machamp comes next and I use Counter and Horn Attack to take it down. Last is Onix and I take it down with 2 Earthquakes, winning the fight on the red. Yeah, I risked too much in here, but we made it. Next is Karen, the Dark type specialist. She starts with Umbreon and I go with Horn Beetle. I take down Umbreon with 2 Horn Attacks. Next with Vileplume I use some Earthquakes and Horn Attacks, but then I change for Killer Bee. Then 2 Twin Needles takes it down. Next is Houndoom, so I change for Shucky, which takes a Flamethrower. Then I change for Mushroom, but then Houndoom uses Roar, which brings Sonic Wing. Which I don't mind, so I start to use double teams, then I use some Headbutts to take it down. Next is Gengar, so I change for Horn Beetle. Gengar goes for Curse, then I use Earthquake to take down Gengar. Last is Murkrow, and I change for Shucky. I use Rest to heal Shucky and our Mean Parry wakes up right away Shucky. I managed to hit 3 rollouts, then the 4th miss, so I decide to use another Rest. Since I can't wake up now, I use Sleep Talk, which managed to use Rollout and Strength. Then we wake up on the next turn, so I use Strength to take down Murkrow, winning the fight. Now it's time to face the champion Lance. He starts with Gyarados and I go with Mushroom. It uses Rain Dance and I use Spore to put it to sleep. Then a few slashes takes Gyarados down. Next is Dragonite. He misses a Blizzard, so I use Spore to put it to sleep, and then a few slashes takes it down. Next is Aerodactyl. I change for Shucky for a wing attack. Then I change for Killer Bee, which takes a Rock Slide and survives on 5 HP before our Berry. Then I change for Hornbeetle for another Rock Slide. Then I change for Shucky for a wing attack. Then I use Rest and our Mint Berry wakes us up. Then I change for Hornbeetle for a Rock Slide. Then I change back to Shucky, which I still manage to make some damage, but then I change for Mushroom, which takes an HM power. Then I change for Sonic Wing. We take a wing attack. Then I start to use double teams and it works, and I use Swift to take down Aerodactyl. Finally. Next is the second Dragonite, and thanks to the double teams I managed to take down Dragonite with headbutts and returns. Next is Charizard, which I also managed to beat with returns. And last is the third Dragonite, which I also take down with returns, winning the fight and becoming the champion. Wow! But we're still not done yet. We still need to go back to Kanto to face the gym leaders there and then face Red. Let's do this! So first is Lieutenant Surge. I go with Mushroom to take down Raichu and Electrode with Slash. And when Magneton comes out, I use Spore to put Magneton to sleep, and then I change for Hornbeetle to take down the rest of Surge's team with Earthquake, winning the fight. Next is Sabrina. I go with Killer Bee, and although Killer Bee is weak to Psychic, it managed to take down Espeon and Mr. Mime with Twin Needle. Alakazam is faster and still makes a lot of damage with Psychic, but Killer Bee survives on 13 HP and takes down Alakazam with Twin Needle as well, winning the fight. I take Pine as well from the box and raise its level until it evolves into Fortress, and next is Erika. And I go again with Killer Bee, which takes down Tangela with Twin Needle as well, and then I use Fury Cutter to take down the rest of Erika's team, winning the fight. Next is Janine, and I go with Hornbeetle, and I use Horn Attack to take down Crobat, and then Earthquake to take down the rest of her team, winning the fight. Next is Misty. I go with Mushroom here, and I take down Golduck with Giga Drain and Slash. Next is Lapras. I put it to sleep after Lapras missed a Blizzard, fortunately. Then I use Giga Drain and Slash to take it down. Next is Starmie. I put it to sleep and then I use Giga Drain and the Slash to put it down. Last is Quagsire, but it goes down with a single Giga Drain, winning the fight. Next is Brock, but Brock is more easier than Misty. I go again with Mushroom and I take down all of his Pokemon with Giga Drain, winning the fight. Next is Blaine. I go with Hornbeetle and I use Earthquake to take down all of his Pokemon, winning the fight. Next is Blue, or like I call him, Champ. It starts with Pidgeot and I go with Pine. I use Spikes, then Pidgeot uses Whirlwind to switch Pine for Hornbeetle. Then I change back to Pine to put a Toxic on Pidgeot. Then I use Protect for the poison damage. I try again, but we didn't make it, and Pidgeot uses Wing Attack, which Pine can take very well. Then I change for Shucky for some rollouts, and Pidgeot uses again Whirlwind to change Shucky for Hornbeetle. But then it goes down with the poison. Next is Arcanine, and I'm glad that Hornbeetle got brought out by Pidgeot, because that way I can take out Arcanine with a critical hit, Earthquake. Next is Alakazam. I change for Pine. We take a lot of damage from Psychic, but I managed to put a Toxic on it. I managed to use 2 Protects to make some damage with a poison. Then I change for Mushroom, which takes a lot of damage from Psychic. Then I change for Sonic Wing to receive another Psychic, also making a lot of damage. I change for Shucky next to also receive a Psychic, and the poison leaves Alakazam on the red. Of course, here Alakazam starts to use Recover, and I take the chance to use Rest to also get some health back. And then Shucky wakes up right away with a Mint Berry. Then I start to attack with Strength. It took a while because Alakazam was always holding on the red and still using Recover, but eventually Alakazam goes down. Next is Rhydon, so I change for Horn Beetle, and I take down Rhydon with 2 Earthquakes. Next is Gyarados, I use a Horn attack, but after I see Gyarados use Rain Dance, I wanted to change it. But seeing my team like that, I decide to stay and Gyarados just used Twisters, so I managed to take it down with Horn attack. Last is Exeggutor, so I use Mega Horn to take down Exeggutor, winning the fight. So now it's time to face Red. It starts with Pikachu and I go with Horn Beetle. A single Earthquake takes down Pikachu. Next is Venusaur, I go for Mega Horn, making a lot of damage, but then Venusaur uses Sunny Day, which is not good, so I take down Venusaur with the last Mega Horn. And just like I was expecting, next is Charizard. I didn't want to do this, but I decided to let Pine go so I can have a free switch for Sonic Wing. And then I start to use double teams. And it's working because Charizard starts to miss. Then after I use 6 double teams, I start to attack with Headbutt. And I manage to take down Charizard. Next is Blastoise. I use Return, then Blastoise managed to connect with Blizzard and takes down Sonic Wing. How? Damn it! We managed to avoid Charizard's attacks and we didn't manage to dodge the move with 70% accuracy on the first turn. I was really looking forward to use a Neon Mega on Sinnoh. Oh well, maybe on the Flying type challenge. I hope. Anyway, rest in peace Sonic Wing. I bring next Mushroom, I put Blastoise to sleep with Spore, and then I take down Blastoise with a Giga Drain and a Slash. Next is Snorlax, I put it to sleep as well, to prevent it for using rest. Then I attack with Slash until it goes down. Last is Espeon, we take a lot of damage from Psychic, but then I use Spore to put Espeon to sleep, then I use 2 slashes to put Espeon down, and like that, we win the fight and the run. Well, this one was close. The bug types are full of weaknesses and it's difficult to find a way to pass by these trainers. But it was fun. Well, some of it. Fortunately we had some good bug types to use. Well, not good, but still good enough to at least survive this. I hope you enjoyed this video as much I enjoyed playing it, and if you did, please put a like on that video and subscribe to my channel. Eevee will appreciate, and I hope I see you on the next video. Peace!